very long-running conflict. Disputed Western Sahara. Spanish colonized that area. Of refugee camps.
Signing the UN ceasefire.
This is not a sustainable situation for human beings to be in.
We are about to step into a story few have heard. A conflict hidden in silence, overlooked by headlines, and buried beneath layers of geopolitical complexity. Here, in the heart of the Sahara's unforgiving desert, 170,000 Western Sahara refugees have spent the past 50 years trapped in exile and forbidden to return home. Yet against all odds, they have found resilience and built a future in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Join us as we spend the next week living among the Sahrawis, uncovering their struggles, their strength, and the stories the world needs to hear. We first learned about this conflict through the Sahara Marathon, an annual race raising awareness for the Sahrawi cause. It was then that we realized how little we and the rest of the world knew about this conflict. Even our own government's travel warnings painted a picture of uncertainty, but we had to see it for ourselves. And so we boarded a flight to Tindouf, Algeria, the closest town to the Sahrawi refugee camps. As we were getting closer to our host family's house, we were discovering a refugee camp completely different than the image we had created in our minds.
Right here.
Shoes on
Scarpe? Aqui?
It's hardly a tent.
Yeah.
This is tea.
Atay, Sahara Occidental.
Okay.
Atay.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Already from the first moments with our host, we've experienced an incredible hospitality. But little did we know that Fatima, Baba, Leila, Amina, and Mohammed would welcome us into their lives as if we were their own. But before we truly got to know them, we needed to understand the place they call home. Although exhausted from the 18-hour journey, curiosity pulled us outside to explore Smara Camp, one of the 5 established refugee camps in the area, each named after real towns in their homeland in Western Sahara.
It's a few hours later. We arrived and we were completely tired. We had some tea, we had some food from our lovely host, and then we decided to go for a nap. 2 hours later right now, and we came out to explore the town together with our translator, Leila.
You've been living here your entire life?
Yes, I go to Tindouf, to Algeria, to study.
Okay.
But I was born in here.
What did you study?
I studied computer science.
Computer science.
Yes.
Oh wow. So you're a translator for work, for your job? Or you have also another job?
No, they just called me and say, hi, can you translate?
Oh really? Just,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
nice. And what's your day-to-day job?
I still don't have a job.
Ah, okay.
Yes, I just graduated this summer.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you studied in Tindouf, in the city? University
yes,
of Tindouf.
yes.
Okay. Do a lot of people from here go study there?
Yes, a lot of people go study everywhere in Algeria, even
Okay.
in Europe,
Oh,
in Spain.
because do you have a Spanish passport?
Me, no.
Okay.
Why Spain, you might be wondering? Western Sahara, the homeland of the Sahrawi people, was colonized by Spain in the late 19th century during the scramble for Africa. Despite resistance from the local tribes, Spain claimed the territory and ruled it as a colony for nearly a century. When it withdrew in 1975, instead of granting independence, it allowed Morocco and Mauritania to take control, triggering a brutal conflict that lasts until this day. Some still hold Spanish passports today because Spain never really fully revoked their nationality, leaving them with a colonial legacy but no recognized homeland.
You can see that the buildings are like quite under construction. They're building more houses. I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign, to be honest. Like, are more refugees coming, or are they just like restructuring and making them more livable?
or just, families expanding.
Hola. Buenos días. It's like a vegetable shop. You can buy like potatoes here. They're also just normal shops. Look at this. Hola, buenos días. All the water, just vegetables. Just a normal shop. And then suddenly it looks like you're back in your ordinary town.
I think we're on the aroma Tindouf shops.
So I guess in a different time of the day, all these shops are open. Like a little market street, small local businesses.
As we were exploring the streets of Smara for the first time, the locals were curious to get to know us as well, starting with the most important question of all time.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Messi.
As you can see, we weren't exploring alone. Alongside us were the amazing people of Sandblast, a UK-based charity dedicated to supporting Saharawi refugees, which we'll tell you more about later. Our first day in Smara was all about exploring the camp and understanding the Saharawi way of life and traditions, with one of those being traditional Saharawi tea, which we enjoyed together with our Sandblast friends.
2 shots of water.
Yes. Here.
Sorry. You always have tea around this time of the day?
Yes. In the morning, in the afternoon, and the night.
Okay.
3 times always.
Nice.
And when somebody comes to your house, your friend or your family, we
Also have tea.
now we take a cup of tea without sugar. We put sugar here. We try to mix sugar with tea.
That's how you always mix it?
Yes, should mix it. It's the basic of tea.
You don't just do it with your spoon like this? No. You just don't stir it up.
Traditional way. Now we test.
It's good?
Oh, yeah, more. I think you can taste it. It's good. Very sugary.
Do you always have the patience to do it this traditional way?
Yes. We are Saharawi. We have the
Ah,
patience of the world. We are waiting for our independence.
This might be the best tea I've ever had.
What's the most famous food or dish in your country?
Exchange of cultures.
Yes, I love cheese. So maybe if I try this, I love it too.
Come to Moldova once.
Okay, invite me. We perfect rice. Yes, we do it. But it's with meat and you don't eat meat.
Actually,
All the Saharawi people is welcoming
wow.
the strong and the weak,
All
the
the
live and the
Saharawi
die.
people
Is welcoming you, the strong and the weak, the dead and the alive. he told you that you feel free to do whatever you want.
Your
And-
comfort and
Yes,
the rest.
comfortable. If you need anything,
Everything is
Tell them.
disponible.
Thank you.
Thank you. What are you giggling about?
دارين الشابات صحاب التخيل كاملة هما تتغلبي الا ما نعدل شي زوج شي صح
Good morning.
صباح.
A very cheerful person. The friend already came over at 8 a.m. drinking tea, having breakfast.
Day 2 here in the camps. Last night was such a beautiful night. One of those moments where you can see we're all just really the same interests, same curiosities. Makes it hard to just realize that, well, you know, we complain when the tax bill is a bit too high, or you know, one of those things. And here they all look so happy and welcoming, and like literally they give everything they have to offer. And one of the things that are also really, really beautiful and that I envy actually is all the doors are completely open the entire time. So everyone can just walk in, and there's just such a good faith amongst the people here. Like they trust everyone and they know nobody's gonna do anything bad. Whereas in the Western world, in the Netherlands, if you leave your door open, it's well, open house, and people consider it a sellout. It's just like one of those like welcoming environments, and it makes you feel very welcome, warm, safe. Right now we're gonna go to a project of growing vegetables. Obviously in the Sahara it's quite difficult to grow vegetables, but so there's been an initiative to actually grow some. And I believe we are able to buy a couple of crops, vegetables there for our families that we're staying with, to support the cause but also support the families. Let's go.
Our time in the camps so far felt surprisingly normal, not like a conflict zone or even a refugee camp. But as we left Smara for another camp, reality hit again. The Saharawi police, known as the Polisario, had to escort us from town to town. The Polisario is also known as the Saharawi National Liberation Movement, and they provide security in the camps due to ongoing tensions with Morocco. Their presence reminded us of the unresolved conflict and the fragile situation the Sahrawi people continue to face.
Look at the crops!
Green area, green oasis. It's probably the most important part of everything we've seen.
Just welcome you to this project, Growing Hope project. The people in the t-shirts are part of a UK-based not-for-profit team called Western Sahara Support Group. We've known this woman for 20 years. She was like this. Now she's the director of this project. This is a Sahrawi project. It was Fatimalu's idea. They do all the work, they maintain the site, they harvest the food, they distribute it. We give a helping hand, that's all we do. It's their project, they tell us what they want us to do. If you want to help your families, at the back there's a small shop. You can buy vegetables to take home to your families. Today we have a special tourist price. You have a look back there.
Okay, thank you. Veggie spot, let's bring them back to the camp.
You often hear that charities come to help, but here, help means something different. The focus isn't on aid, but on self-reliance, creating jobs, learning skills, and building a future on their own terms. Sandblast, the charity we came with, shares the same vision. Instead of bringing in outsiders, they train Sahrawi teachers for their after-school program.
Since 2016, we launched this pilot project to try to build the next generation of cultural ambassadors. So we started an after-school program called Desert Voice Box. And it was about like giving children a chance to do something meaningful after school, because there's very little in the refugee camps for children, and those empty hours are bad in so many ways. And just to give them a space where they can express themselves, where they can become inspired to become something and to believe in themselves, because it's so important in the situation when you're a refugee, not to get into a mindset that as a refugee, that's it, you don't have any options. And it's been a project that's been growing bit by bit. We wanted to train women locally in order to run this program. We don't want them to be dependent once again on outsiders. So one big aim of our project is to give them all the tools in order to gain the skills and the confidence to do that. And we now, like 8 years down the line, we have a team of 4 wonderful women who are teaching English and music and an administrator.
This is one of our students in our program.
So these are some kids, part of the voice box. Hi.
My name is Ben.
Wow. Very good English. your name?
My name is Jamila.
Jamila. What is your name? Batuha. Yeah, those are your pictures.
As we met the children that are part of the after-school English program, we were struck by the confidence in their eyes. In a place where opportunities are scarce, knowledge became their greatest power and the key to shaping their own future. These first days in the camps made it seem like life had taken root. Crops were growing, houses were being built, and schools and hospitals were running. But the reality is that this was never meant to be their future. What was once a temporary refuge has become a new home, and that is one of the biggest challenges the Saharawi people face today.
You know, we have the third generation of children being born and growing up now, and that connection to their homeland is getting more and more tenuous, because the ones that have that connection are the ones that fled from the home, the ones that knew the homeland and knew what that meant to them. And these people who have been born here, this is all they've ever known. So in a very sort of kind of ironic way, this is their home. This is all they know. And this is that place is supposed to be their home. And it's a confusing emotional situation, because that place is actually a bit scary. They don't really know it. And as the elders die out and are less able to transmit those memories, there are less people around to really carry on that story of who they are and where they come from. It means that they're open to sort of actually other forces that can manipulate the population, and especially the young people. If they're not getting a good grounding in their own history and roots of who they are, they can decide better who they want to be. If you don't have that, you don't know why you're making choices, you know, exactly what you're fighting for. So those are one of the big challenges of them being able to really keep hold of maintaining and developing their culture more, because they have a beautiful culture.
Beyond education and self-sufficiency, the Saharawi people in the camps still face serious humanitarian challenges. One of the most critical is access to water. We spoke with Najla, a Sahrawi activist for women's and environmental rights and the founder of the Smara Al-Masar Library, to understand just how dire the situation is.
Resources in general very scarce here in the camps, except sand. Sand and vitamin D from the sun. The water, in general, it doesn't have. We don't have enough of it. The last 2 years, we've had the worst water crisis this January, I really was in a moment where I thought, I'm just gonna leave. You know, we had no water. We just got water 2 days ago. I told you I had the pile of dishes in the kitchen. I covered it with a melfa because I had no water to wash the dishes. Let alone to take a shower. I do all my laundry in Tindouf. I don't do my laundry here. And that's the story of basically everyone. I think Benda and Fatim can tell you more about it. It's just, and this is the most basic. I tell you the truth, I didn't take a shower for a month. No, there was no water. It's a constant stress, and it becomes part of you. And then you always questioning, is it worth it to take a shower? Is it not worth it? Do I stink? Do I stink? Does my hair stink? So you're really trying to think, I look sometimes at the skin of my son, and I'm like, does he really need a shower? And he hasn't taken a shower for 1 week. Everything looked incredibly sad when there is no water. The kitchen, the bathroom, the hands, everything.
Our visit to the camps happened during winter months, when the heat is more tolerable, but in the summer it becomes a whole different story.
This is a hamada, and I don't know if you know the term hamada. Hamada is really the harshest type of land you can live in, because usually it doesn't have water, usually it has a lot of sandstorms, and usually it's very hot. You add on top of it the climate change, the rising temperature around the world. 2 summers ago we had 64 degrees in July. 64 degrees, yeah. And this is not reported. This is not reported. As I was telling you the other day, you can cook your eggs on the sand. That's how hot it is. And then you add on top of it lack of water. You add on top of it the way our houses are built. It's just like we are in the very front line of climate change in this place. I mean, there is no filter. It's very raw. I mean, I think everybody here can agree that July and August, some September is basically hell. It's really hell on earth.
The challenges in the camps don't end here. Over the years, rubbish has piled up and unused buildings stand abandoned. While initially people lived in tents, they slowly built houses, leaving waste and discarded items behind. With no infrastructure to properly dispose of them, everything stayed out in the open, slowly taking over the desert. This was never meant to be a long-term home, and the longer the Sahrawis remain here, the more complex the issues become.
Our host is relatively quite well off. It's a proper house with walls, access to cleaning water. But it's not like that for everyone here. Like you see more tents as well. Like here, you see a couple of tents and unfinished buildings. And you have to realize that those people live like that now for 50 years. So that's 3 generations.
The conflict began in 1975 when Spain withdrew from Western Sahara, leaving it available for Morocco and Mauritania to claim. The Sahrawi people, led by the Polisario Front, had no other choice than to fight for independence. As attacks escalated, thousands of Sahrawi families were forced to flee, crossing the desert on foot into Algeria. One of these families was Najla's.
And of course, what would you do if someone just came and robbed your house or gave your house to someone else? You fight back. And I think it's, to us, this land is more than just a homeland. It's really part of us, you know, or part of our identity, part of our history. It was a very chaotic fleeing, you know. I heard one of my neighbors, there's actually a documentary, a very short documentary of both of us. She's the older generation, I'm the younger generation. And she told me when we were doing this documentary that she was making dinner. She had her tent, she was making dinner. There was a fire in front of her house. Her husband and 2 of her children were shepherding the goats in another area. She was left with her children, and all of a sudden she had to leave everything. She had to leave everything. I mean, like, she had to leave her tent, her belongings, her jewelry, her goats, everything. She even left the pot cooking, you know, the dinner, it was cooking. She ran for her life. She said, I took a little bit of food. I made like a little bag. I tied it around my neck, and then a little something to carry water. She carried it on her back, and she walked for 3 months to arrive in these refugee camps. She lost 2 of her daughters on the way. And she said this very painful statement. She said, I lost my 2 daughters because of hunger and sickness. Basically, we're just fighting for this most basic human right, is to have a say. Where do we want to live? What is a political system that we choose for ourselves? Do we want a monarchy? Do we want a democracy? Do we want to live as nomads? Do we want to create something new? So it's this agency over what we want. This is what we're fighting for. And the world is not giving it to us. And of course, we will not give up. We will not give up, you know. This this woman I told you about, she died last year. And I always heard her. I also heard my grandmother, my grandparents, all the older women. They had only one wish, is that they will be buried in their homeland. And they were robbed out of this wish. They are buried here in the graveyard of Sahara. We're not asking much of the world. We're just asking to go home and to have a say over our future. That's like, you boil it down, it's this.
This lack of self-determination extends beyond the physical struggles of life in the camps. The future opportunities for many Sahrawis are very restricted, even the ones holding Spanish or Algerian passports, with the latest one being more common. The Algerian passport allows Sahrawis to study and travel within Algeria. However, it does not allow them to have work, and job opportunities in the camps are very scarce. Despite their education, many young Sahrawis are stuck, unable to use their skills to build a future, caught in a system that limits their potential.
What is your dream job?
My dream job?
Yeah.
It's kind of doctor or something.
Doctor, okay,
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
Are you gonna study medicine?
Yes.
In
I wish.
You wish? Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Can you do it in Algeria?
Yes. And then when you study, you can get a job.
Okay.
Just study and stay at home.
Yeah.
There's no job here.
Mm.
No jobs.
And also, you can't move to Algiers, for example, or.
It's difficult.
Mm.
Yes.
Do you see that a lot in the camps, that like you can go study but then you can't find jobs?
You finish your study, you stay. It's very common to you. It's a common problem. You're not able to find a job.
So that's also not really motivating for people to go study, because you can't find jobs after all anyway.
We study anyway. So
Yeah.
we know that our country needs us to study, so we study and we finish our studies, but when we came back, we just stay.
Yeah.
No jobs, so
Yeah.
we hope that one day Western Sahara will be free and we will work with our study, the specialty that we study.
Exactly, yeah.
We've never witnessed greater resilience than that of the Sahrawis. Every person we met is deeply invested in their cause, and even children here don't just wait for change. They create it in their own way. Through music, for example, like the powerful song written by Sahrawi children at the Voice Box after-school program.
On the outside, I am normal. On the inside, I have feelings. Drowning in a spider's web. I'm invisible, there's no light. La nur, there is no light. I want to break feelings and fortunes, end of the war, ready to escape. Where do we go? Zombie في الهواء أبطال في السجون. Zombie in the lane, heroes in the present. Zombie في الهواء أبطال في السجون. Zombie in the lane, heroes in the present.
Despite the hardships and the fight for self-determination, the Sahrawis hold on to their identity. Even in exile, they show an unbreakable connection to their homeland. Their resilience is unmatched, and they celebrate their culture every possibility they get. We believe that one can truly get to know a culture by trying to be part of it. And so we embrace the Sahrawi traditions during the Sahrawi National Independence Day, a day full of fun, laughter, and joy, where all the worries of the refugee camp disappeared.
It's absolutely packed here. All kinds of different tents with different expressions of their culture. And everyone's dancing, making music. You can probably hear all the sounds.
Show us how men dance. You've got like a rapper vibe, like.
It's kind of almost rapping.
We're at a tent where they teach Quran, and they do it on a traditional
Wood, I think it's wood.
Abba, Wesley, Hamadi, Wesley. Shukran. They asked the group to perform a song in front of everyone tonight during the ceremony. Yeah, we have an hour to prepare. We don't even know which song we're gonna sing. They asked for like a cultural experience, but there are different nationalities within the group, so that's gonna be an interesting challenge.
I'm loving angels inside. Through it.
As we stood on stage, singing in front of the Sahrawi people, we felt the weight of the moment. It wasn't about how well we sang, it was about showing up, about acknowledging their struggle. Seeing the emotion in their eyes, the way they welcomed us as part of their story, made us realize just how much it meant for them to be seen and to be heard. And in that moment, something else became clear: the strength of the Sahrawi women. Throughout our time in the camps, we noticed it was the women who took center stage, performing, leading, keeping the spirit of their culture alive. Even in exile, they are the backbone of their society.
I think in general, like since nomadic life, the Sahrawi women had a very crucial role. So when the revolution came, when this change happened, because the men had to leave to go to the front line. Everything was left for women to do. You know, they built schools with their hands. They built hospitals. They became teachers, even though they were not trained to be teachers. They became nurses, even though they had very basic first aid knowledge. And then, of course, this built momentum, and this momentum kept building, and of course, this is the result. It's very progressive, very progressive.
The Saharawi struggle is not just about land, it's about identity, dignity, and the right to determine their own future. As we reflect on what we witnessed in the camps, we are reminded of how crucial it is that every person has the right to self-determination, the right to a future that's not defined by survival alone. The Sahrawis are some of the most warm-hearted, welcoming, and kind people we have ever met. They invited us into their homes, shared their meals, their stories, and their dreams with us. The Sahrawi story deserves to be told, and their voices deserve to be heard. And if there's one thing we'll carry with us, it's that resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about holding on to hope.